Hello. So we've had a pretty bullish day in stock indexes, particularly US stock indexes, but also, in Asian trading, we've got the sell-off in Chinese stocks kind of easing a bit. We have got the Nikkei staying really strong. The ASX is still dancing at previous highs. European stocks aren't so strong, but in terms of we're not in a major risk-off crisis right now, let's put it that way. And Bitcoin today has been pretty bouncy too. I want to urge a little bit of caution here, and I tell you why. Because we've broken out of this nasty sideways range, and we've broken above all of the lower time frame moving averages. So we were consolidating our hourly moving averages and we're pushing higher. Same thing here in the 4-hour. But if we look back, so say if we go back to the daily and we go back to December, in December we were sideways at this big 50% level, and that was the 50% of the entire drop. And the top of this sideways range was really solidly 44,500, and we had this really strong sort of 40,500 range. And this was a little bit of the mirror of the sideways range that we have been in for the last sort of week, 10 days. And this 40,500, 41,000 was pretty strong support. So just because this is kind of a weirdly strong support and resistance level for the last 6 weeks here, these highs and this low, I want to urge a little bit of caution. We may, for example, here see a little bit of a pullback. However, there are some things that make me feel really good about this. This looks like 5 waves up, 3 waves back. And if I'm wrong, and to be cautious, and if this is actually going to blast higher, then we're beginning wave 3, and this is wave 1 of 3. So the next one after that will be really strong. So at the moment, I'm thinking, yeah, but just let's see. And so for me, I'm not going to put any positions on tonight. I'm going to wait and see until tomorrow and look at the pullbacks and make sure that it doesn't reverse too far. So, however, that's where we are in Bitcoin, and this kind of 44,500, 45,000 is a really important, therefore, support and resistance level. If we add into that picture, let's put regular candles on here on the daily. If we add into that picture, remember in Bitcoin, it's very common in highs and lows to make a double top. So a retest of these highs up here, at 48,000, it wouldn't be weird. I'm going to put my fibs on from this high to low. And if we look at where we're going, level to level to level, this was a 50% here. This 38.2 held as support. And so it is working kind of quite interestingly. And so the next upside level, rather than being this 44,500, is actually closer to 45,000 at 44,982. That's a 61.8 level. They can be a bit messy. So now if you're long here on this or looking to get in, we can say quite simply that we shouldn't close back underneath 43,750 and watch out for a little bit of a pullback around 45,000. But we're still going up as long as we don't come back underneath 43,700. So I'm not tempted to buy quite here, but it does look pretty strong. And I think if you have bought here, because this was actually quite a nice 4-hour buy on this breakout from this consolidation and this making a new high, that's what your target is next, then 45,000. If we look at this on a 15-minute, this means that these little sideways consolidation, this, if you're trading an Asian session here, this should break out higher, and that should be the next upside target. Let's take a look at ETH, because we had a nice little move in ETH today here on the hourly. And here's another reason for caution. So here in ETH, if we look at our fib levels from the high, again, from the high that we made here at the start of the year, 12th of January, to the low that we made here on the 24th of January, you can see that this 236 fib initially was resistance, then support. This 38.2 was a level, and here we are at the big 50% level. And again, in ETH, this is a little bit of an interesting support and resistance level. It's this high here from the end of December and this low here. So 50% back, support and resistance level. Is this also an equal measured move? I don't think it is, but let's measure and have a look. So we're going to measure from this low to this high, project it from here. We're kind of at 61.8 level. This says that we should keep going higher, 2,506, unless we don't close above 24.19. So potential, oh, I've measured it wrong. Here we go. I did that wrong, sorry. Actually, this says that we could squeak a little bit higher, couldn't it, to an equal measured move level and keep going. Just I'm always a little bit cautious around big 50% levels, so especially when they're combined with other factors. So that's where we are in ETH. Might be a little bit done today, but closing above this 50%, that would, again, level to level to level. And so again, if you're looking at this on the hourly, a nice little corrective three-wave pattern here that then breaks above this 50% level means that you could have a nice kind of stop much higher up here underneath the swing and look for more upside in ETH. One of the most exciting things about this is there are quite a lot of altcoins that look really kind of well supported and like they want to go higher. Let's take a look at some of them. So first off, let's talk, this is YFI. If I put it on the weekly, zoom out here, YFI made one of those textbook ABC patterns. So it had a swing, a two-way pullback, and a second swing, which was equal to the first swing. When you make a big ABC pattern like that, the normal pullback, the most common is a 786 fib. So that was here at 65.73, and it looks to me like we're trying to bounce from this level. So look, there's our support, 65.73. We made a nice little bullish hammer candle. And so if we can get back above these weekly moving averages, which for the last 2 weeks we've not been able to, then we're on our way up again. So I'm going to mark where that weekly 20 is, because that's where we want to close above. And when we go down to the daily, we can see that that clearly support, support, resistance. So in YFI, pushing above this swing high gives us a really nice bounce level. Our first target should be back test of this 61.8 level if we can clear this downtrend at 85.78, and because it's a 786 bounce, we can say pretty clearly then if we can get above that level, our target is 11,395. So here we are at the moment at 7,000. So again, this looks like daily 200 moving average, perfect kind of fib pattern setup. I'm just watching to see if we can flip this trend and break higher. It's trying again. You know, we've made a high, we've now made a lower high. We have to take out this swing high to do it. So I'm not jumping in this one yet either, but I'm watching it. So let's take a look at a few more requests and some more charts that I think are quite interesting. So let's go, we're going to look at some P's. Now here in P's, obviously we had the big bounce to start and we've been trading sideways. I'm just going to make sure I've got the chart with the most history. I think I have. It's the only one against the dollar. Let's look at this. So in terms of dollar trading here, this really is a little bit, you know, flat moving averages on the 4 hour, not really any kind of a trend at the moment. Now that we've got a newly minted hourly 200, but I have to say that for me, P's in terms of dollar valuation isn't really a compelling trade at the moment. One thing I would say is it is clearly making very nice three-wave moves. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So we are kind of due a three-wave swing higher, aren't we? And it's holding pretty good support, I suppose, if we were to measure from this most recent low to high. Here we are sitting at the 61.8 fib. And so that if we were to I think we can say that we bottomed if we can close above this 50%. Clearly the market's looking at it, it's 7.66. So a close above 7.66 should take us to 8.3, and then above 8.3, which is the high of this sideways range that we have basically been in since Sunday, sees next swing higher. So yeah, and whilst we're in this sideways range, clearly we know where we're wrong if we were to close underneath this 6.8 level, which has been the support. Then when we do that, we're looking for the next fib retrace lower, which is down here at obviously 5.7. So yeah, potentially we could be starting a new swing higher, or we could just stay in this sideways range a little bit longer. 61.8 fib levels are a little bit nasty. Let's look at Jupiter, which is new. Now, there's a huge variety in the charts that you look at for this, but what is clear from all of them is the same pattern from the high to low. So some have different shaped spikes for this first initial candlestick. I'm looking here at a 4-hour chart of Jupiter, and when I measure from the high to the low potentially that we've made, because we've just flipped our 4-hour moving averages, if we look on the hourly as well, we've just flipped our hourly moving averages. And so next swing higher, I'm looking for another swing higher that takes us up to this 236 fib, which is also the previous highs from last Friday and Thursday, and 0.63. And I think that we are in a new upswing above that level, but that's going to be pretty tough resistance. So that's the first level I'm looking at. Really good support and resistance at 0.63. I think we should see a lower high. We are sitting, a potentially pretty interesting level at this 4-hour 20 moving average, and also this swing low here from the 1st of February. 0.54, 0.55. So 0.63 would make it a bottom. Now, when we get there, if we do make another swing higher, we're not quite got the signal to go higher here yet, have we? Instead, if we break back underneath this, I think that we're going to see a bigger bottoming pattern, perhaps a retest of the lows, and we'll see what happens there. So I'm only talking about if we swing higher here. If we do that, then let's go out to the 4-hour again. We would then be able to say we've probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you do 5 waves up, what you tend to see is then a 3-wave correction back to the bottom of this wave 4, which would be here. And if we were to do that in Jupiter, then we could say, well, look, we've actually got a bigger head and shoulders pattern, and this 0.63 level would then become the neckline, and above it, new swing higher. That's going to be the key level. So yes, I haven't got the buy signal here yet. Let's put my hourly and Heikin-Ashi on. But we are right at that level where I would like to see it turn higher and make a 5th wave, because if it does that, then Jupiter would be quite bullish for me. So that's what I'm looking for in that one. Let's take a look at Matic. Now, if you missed that, if you miss this buy in Asian trading tonight and it goes without you, don't worry, this neckline, obviously if we break higher, would give us a much better opportunity as well. But 0.63 really should be your first target for that. So there are a few charts that I'm looking at that I think are quite interesting. Let's take a look at some of them. First one of those is Matic. Now, big picture, whenever I see all of the moving averages, and these are the weekly moving averages here in Matic, whenever I see them all bunched up like this and holding a support level, I get quite excited that we are going to see a bigger move. Also, if I look at what we have done since this September low, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. It looks like I'm hoping we've completed a big 3-wave correction and another swing higher. And if that's the case, also, I'm then measuring from the low that we made in June 2022 to the high that we made here in last summer, project it from here and say, if we break higher from this consolidation, First upside target is 1.266. And second, obviously, is this 1.74 level in Matic, which kind of would be a 50% back of this entire drop, wouldn't it? Now, we are a little bit sideways, and we've been doing this obviously for a couple of months, but it just finally looks like the momentum is turning. When I look at what we have done since the end of December, we've done a very nice three-wave correction, swing higher, and then it looks like a higher low. Now, whenever you make this pattern, right? So you know, you've been in a nasty downtrend, you have a swing higher, and then if you make a higher low, the only way your higher low is confirmed is when you take out this one. And so that's right where we are here, look. Taking out this higher and another, at least another swing higher. Now it might end up just being a three-wave corrective move, not a new upswing like we're hoping for. And I think above this daily 50 would be what I'd be looking for. So above this daily 50, yes, we should really see some strong, more upside movement in Matic. So big picture, this is on my radar tonight because of these moves. I like how we are trying to break out of this sideways range. It's just made this marginal new high. So I think pullbacks in Matic, especially if we can recover and hold above that daily 50, have a really nice swing. Let's talk about those targets again. So we're doing it this way from the low here in June, but we could also do it from this swing. Look, so this is our, what I think looks like a nice five-way swing, but what if I'm wrong? I'm going to measure it here like this. A retest of these highs at 1.06 would be quite bearish if we fell there. But if we line it up, look, that's 61.8 and the equal measured move level line up together between 1.266 and 1.29. And so, yeah, I think this is setting up really nicely for another leg higher as well. With these bunched up moving averages, could be quite strong. Same thing with sushi. Watching sushi for ages. This is another one that looks like it's made a very nice three-wave bull flag correction on the daily here and hasn't continued lower down to this 200 moving averages going sideways. This sushi, you see how these moving averages have got flat, and each time we have tried to rally, we have got sold at the daily 50 moving average, which has previously been good support. So we know we're getting pretty close to getting above this in sushi. The sign that we're going to be going higher is going to be a break above these previous highs in this daily 50. Then we can look for this trend line, and then a breakout from this big flag should be a really nice next strong. Now, we might not do this, but this is one of the charts that I kind of have got on my watch list because of this lovely corrective pattern, because we flipped all these daily moving averages. This is one of the ones I'm looking. You know, we might just get up here and do another leg lower, but that's what I'm looking for in sushi. Now there are quite a few coins, unfortunately, that are a little bit of risk of being sold this month, but those are the chart patterns that I'm watching for. Now, talking about three-wave corrections, this is Bitsensor or Tau, and I was watching this. Now when we looked at Tau, we were looking for this not to fall back too far, and it's looking a little bit toppy. So whenever we do this, look, we've got potentially 5 waves up here. So if you are long of Tau and you are wondering if this is going to turn into a bigger correction or if we're going to keep going, remember, we're going to see a bigger correction if we lose this previous swing low and or this daily 20 moving average. So we're not quite there yet, but look, here's this double triple bottom. It's at 409, I think. Underneath 409, we would see a bigger reversal, but this level I would expect at least the first time we come back to it, we try a little bit of a bounce. So if you're long of this one, that's what I would be watching for, and this is where I think the party might be over on a close underneath 409 in Bitsensor. Where is the bottom in Shrap? Let's take a look at this one. This is making a very nice correction. Now, when I measure, when I have a coin like this is quite new, I want to make sure that the fibs are working. So I draw them from the low, but because it's always a little bit, not sure, I make sure that the fib levels are working before I lean on them. So when we look at this, let's put this first of all on regular candlesticks. You can see that this 236 fib level was really effective. So was this 38.2 for a big bounce, and so was this 50% that got rejected at 38.2 on a back test. So we know that these fib levels in SHRAP work, okay? And so this 50% level also, we had a decent bounce back to the 38.2, and then we got underneath it and it was resistance. So now here we are bouncing from a 61.8, next level down. So we're going to be bullish to get back to the top of the channel if we can get above 0.2386, which is this 50% level, which was support here last Wednesday, or on sorry, not last Wednesday, on this low here that we made on the 10th of January. So key resistance at 0.2386. Above it, yes, I think we can set our target for the top of the channel, or at least the 38.2. We might do a little bit of sideways here in the middle. It's, but that's where I would be looking for. And then obviously out of the channel, next swing higher. So potentially this was the bottom. If we don't, we could, still do it. I'm not saying we're not going to do another leg lower. I just say to the top of the channel first, and let's see if we can break out from there. So that's how I'm looking at shrapnel. So yes, potentially this could have been a bottom, and we'll find out when we see what happens at 0.238. Good luck, and let me know if there's anything else you'd like.